all this business about tearing down statues and Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson, and even talking about tearing down Columbus and Jefferson Davis and burning the Confederate flag and all of that. That's nonsense. It's crazy. I'm in favor of letting Stonewall Jackson's statue stand. Let Robert E. Lee, let Jefferson Davis, for those of you who don't know who he is, he's the president of the Confederacy. Don't change the name of Fort Bragg, though Braxton Bragg fought in the Confederate Army. Let the Confederate flag fly. No, celebrate them. It's a memorial to what we have overcome. We can walk by Stonewall and say, you were a gallant general, but I'm free. You're on a statue, and I'm free. No, it's our history. It's our heritage. You know, occasionally I'll drive out to Brooklyn, Atlantic Avenue, Flatbush Extension, sits the Brooklyn House of Detention. Yes. So on July 3rd, 44 years ago, at night, at about 10 o'clock, I started praying. Now, I'd prayed a couple of nights before, like the Muslims do. I listened to the imam, and I tried that. It didn't work. So I said, let me try my grandmama's Jesus on the 3rd of July. It was during the time of the bicentennial, 1776. And all the tall ships were sailing around, remembering America 200 years ago. And all the memorabilia was America when it found its independence 200 years ago, from 1776 to 1976. And there I was in the Brooklyn House of Detention. There I was, pair of short pants, flip-flop pants. Hot as hell in July in that cold, in that steel and concrete. But I got down on my knees that night in my cell all alone. And I asked Jesus to forgive me. And he did. I won't tell you the whole story about how he came and one thing after the other, and I asked him to look upon me. That you don't want to hear. But what I do want to say is that occasionally now, 40 years later, I may drive by the Brooklyn House of Detention, but I'm not angry with the Brooklyn House of Detention. I don't want to tear it down. Hell, stand there as long as it won't. In fact, I put it up and tell people that's where I used to be. I know I'm not about tearing it down. It held me as a prisoner. Several years ago, in the early years of our marriage, Elizabeth and I were down in Florida vacationing. So I said, let me drive by Rayford Prison. Yeah, show you where I used to be. So we drove out to the prison way back up in the land of nowhere, and drove by the guard tower. The guard tower said, "What you want?" I said, "Who wants to know?" I said, "I come to look at where I used to be." "Well, if you don't have a permit, get away from here. Get and leave now. Turn your car around and leave." All right, okay. But I don't want to tear the joint down. No, that's where I learned so much. Walking up the steps one day to my third floor tier cell, and there was a book on the steps called Up From Slavery, written by Booker T. Washington. I picked it up, somebody had thrown it away. I picked it up and began to read. And didn't read until I didn't stop until I put the whole book down. No, I don't want to tear the jails down. No! We should want me to tear, why we want to tear down the statutes? By the way, you can tear them down and then you're going to do that because you're not going to listen to me. I know that. You don't listen to me. You can tear them all down, but you can't erase the history. You can do it. You can tear them, burn them, smelt them, bomb them, napalm them, if you will. You can give them the AIDS virus, but you can't erase history. You can't erase the fact. You can't erase the truth. And that it isn't the statue that you want to observe. It is the truth that you cannot tear down. You can't tear it down. Or you can take the flag and we're no longer flying the flag of Dixie no more. Doesn't matter. You cannot take away its sacred place in the hearts of mothers and fathers and of children that died in that great conflict called the Civil War. You can't do it. You can't do it. It's pointless. It speaks to me of someone who doesn't have a great understanding about history, about sacredness, good or ill. This business, this reading that about Canaan being the servant of Japheth and Shem is not my cup of tea. It isn't the thing that I would prefer that he had said. But it's here, it's historical, it's controlling. I can tear it out of the Bible, or I can walk around and ignore it like it doesn't exist, or it wasn't talking about me like the Israelites. But I can't move it. It's sacred. It ain't going nowhere. And all of its effects is not going anywhere. It isn't going anywhere. It is crazy to talk about taking down the Confederate flag. Let the flag fly. Let the statues stand. When I walk by, I don't feel intimidated by the jailhouse or the statues. I grew up under that flag. God, his name is Jesus, started slavery. It got started early. And two people have been enslaved, both the Jew and the Hamite. Jesus ended slavery with the word ATLAH. There's a verse in the Bible that said, the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Job said, yet in all of God's giving, blessed be the name of the Lord. Job could be upset with God for letting the devil punish him, kill his children. No, that wasn't it. Job said when all 10 of his children and grandchildren all eating in one house and the roof fell in and killed them all in one fell swoop. When the news came to Job in the evening that all your children are dead, and Job said, the Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Upon being angry with God, blessed be the name of God. And he didn't even know what the deal was between God and the devil. Blessed be the name of the Lord giveth. The Lord started slavery, and he ended it. And blessed be God's name for having done something. So my friend, I come today to tell you my name is Mr. John 832, Mr. Truth. I'd like to dedicate this segment of part of this teaching to Pastor John Bottalotta and his younger boy, Paul, who always referred to me, though he didn't have a lot of experience with me, as Pastor Truth. That's what he calls me, Pastor Truth. You know, I was suggesting the other day, you want to tear down you Canaanites, you Hamites, you Black Lives Matter people, right? You want to tear down statues other people have built, paid for. Yet I've suggested to you more than 7 years ago, rather than tearing down their statues, let's build a statue to the Middle Passage. Let's put on 125th Street a 70-foot arch reaching across 7th Avenue and 125th Street, 40 feet wide and 70 feet high, with the truth written on it, and a memorial to all the Canaanites that died in the Middle Passage coming across the seas for 300 years. Let's make a memorial. Let's make a big tombstone right here in Harlem that's 70 feet high. That's memorializing the millions that died in the Middle Passage. Let's do that rather than tell someone else is down. And guess what? I haven't heard one person, not one politician, not one civic leader, not one person's coming to say, Pastor Manning, that's a good idea. There needs to be a memorial that to our people, when they came in chains in the belly of those ships and died from suffocation and feces infestation and were thrown overboard, even if they just fainted, they were thought to be dead, thrown overboard. Many jumped overboard knowing that they were going to slavery. Why don't we build a monument here in Harlem for them? Not a word, not a damn word from one. None of them, none of them. None of the preachers, none of your family members, none of them. They don't give a damn. They know how to tear stuff down, but they don't build anything. You know, we could build something greater than Robert E. Lee. We could build. Go out there and tell her, Pastor Manning over there in Harlem wants to build a memorial statue that will dwarf anything built in the South by the Confederates. Will you help him? Well, he ain't for our first black president. And we black people got to stick together. And black man and stuff to talk. And he just speaks against, he spoke against Obama. No, And I don't think he likes the black man. He Uncle Tom. He ain't for us. But the statue would be for you. You're judging the man based on your summation, but do a logical, analytical approach to it. He wants to put up a statue higher than anything in America, higher than the Brandenburg Gate. For those of you who are ignorant, it's in Berlin, beautiful gate. Higher than the Arc de Triomphe on the Champs-Élysées in Paris, France. Higher than the Taj Mahal, or as high as the Eiffel Tower. He wants to build something for you. Why do you think he doesn't like you? I had never heard Obama say build anything for you. I never heard Obama say memorialize the slaves, memorialize the Middle Passage, memorialize their death. I haven't heard any of them say that, but Pastor Manning has said it. Why do you judge him that way? The reason why you do is because your mind is in jail. You're just ignorant. You're just foolish. But the statue and the memorial is what we want to be able to do. Middle Passage.